Because 3 of you asked for it, here it is. In this video, I'll show you the power of seeds, how each image has a unique number associated to it, and how this number makes Stable Diffusion stand out from other AI image generators. So, the way the seed command works is essentially like each image, when it starts out to be generated, I don't want to get too complicated here, but it starts out as like a grid of random pixels, random colors. And as it goes through the process called diffusion, it brings definition into those pixels and it makes them into actual discernible objects. So the seed determines those random pixels. So if you have the same prompt, let's just say beach ball in the ocean, and the command you'll want to use is dash capital S space, and let's just say we want seed number 475484446. Press enter. The bot's going to start thinking, of course, and you'll see it'll give me an image. This is a strange looking beach ball, and it isn't exactly in the ocean, but if we try to generate this exact thing again, same prompt and same seed, that's what's important here. Have to have the same prompt and the same seed. Press enter again, and see how long it takes. Took a little bit less time this time, probably because of GPU strenuous activity from all the people generating images, I don't know. But as you can see, these two images of a beach ball, supposed to be in the ocean, but they're the exact same. And it's because we have the same prompt and the same seed. It is crucial that these two elements are the same. Now, something interesting happens if we adjust something called the Cfg scale. Now, this just has to do, I don't even 100% understand this myself, but this just has to do with how the diffusion process goes on, how accurate people have, like the mods have said, how accurate the bot tries to make the final image to the prompt you say. So the default Cfg scale, or capital C, is 7. So if we up that by just 1, it can also be decimal. So if you wanted to do 7.5, that's possible. But let's just change it to 8. Remember, same seed and same prompt. So compare this image you see right here. I'll go ahead and paste the other image. Hopefully I can do it before someone says anything. So compare these two images side by side. They are incredibly similar. And it's because you have the same seed and the same prompt. And the only thing I adjusted was the CFG scale. So the beach ball is in the same position. It only has slightly different colors on it. So if you like an image you get from a specific prompt and a specific seed, then you can take that same prompt and that same seed and just adjust the CFG scale. And by doing that, you type -C, capital C, space, and the number you want. The range of numbers you're going to want to do for this is probably between like maybe 5 and 10 to get the best results. If you go lower than 5, it'll start to be a jumbled mess. And if you go into the negatives, like, here, let me just demonstrate here. I'll copy that prompt. It starts to create images that are the opposite of what you're asking for. So an interesting thing you can do, I'll show you here. If you do C -7, it'll give you the exact opposite of what it thinks this prompt is. So a beach ball in the ocean with this seed, Stable Diffusion's Dreambot mothership thinks the exact opposite of that is a kitchen. And I mean, a kitchen and a beach ball in the ocean are pretty different, so it's kind of interesting to see what the bot generates here. But if you go up on the CFG scale, past a certain point, like I'll do 15 here for demonstration, it starts to add a lot of color. And oh, look at that, Paul McCartney with a guitar or something like that. That's kind of neat. See, this is still pretty good, but you can tell there's more color. And if we crank this up super high, like if I put this at 35, it'll start to be kind of a colorful mess. And if you want sort of like the vaporwave aesthetic, then it can be good for you, but at some point the object's going to become unrecognizable. I found that if you're doing faces, like one I noticed it on a lot is Joe Biden. If you're generating pictures of Joe Biden and you up the CFG scale even to just like 10, it'll start to make like a disgusting pixely mess on his face. But yeah, let's just, for the sake of demonstration, make the CFG scale 100. And you'll see it's not going to look much like a beach ball anymore. This almost looks like a balloon floating in the sky. Maybe an ocean and some sand, but this isn't a clear image at this point. So the CFG scale range you'll want for most images is probably 5 to 10, and the default, remember, is 7. So remember, this is supposed to mainly be a video about seeds for images. That's the most important thing here. That's what makes this CFG scale so applicable to images, to get slightly different variations, as you can see here. So how do you get the seed for an image? So let's say, I'll piggyback off of, who's this? Lee Coe. I'll do Paul McCartney with blue hair. I'm going to generate 9 separate images here. Let me just auto-correct his name to be capital. Not that capitalization makes a difference. You can see exactly how the bot, wow, I forgot what word I was going to say, how it interprets the prompt you give it, and it'll just make all capital letters lowercase. So, hey, looky here. This is a blue-haired Paul McCartney. This one is as well. Blue eyes. Which one looks the most accurate to what we're looking for? Some of them he doesn't even have blue hair. I think this 7th image is kind of interesting. He almost looks like a zombie. Sorry, McCartney. So if you want to find the seed for the 7th image here and make variations to it, then you're going to want to look at this text right here. It says the seeds for each individual image are, and then it has a string of numbers here. And to get the 7th image's seed, just copy the 7th number right here. And what I like to do is I just paste it in here, then go to the start -s space, and you're going to take the same prompt. And if you originally generated a bunch of different images, like I generated 9 images at first, you're just going to want to do 1 here to focus on the one image you like. So same prompt and same seed for this image. If you want to check to make sure you have everything accurate here, just press enter. And let me copy this here. And you can see it is the exact same image as it is up here, which is good. So if you want to make slightly different variations here, I don't know why I didn't copy the seed, then we can adjust the CFG scale. So let's say, and the way the mods have explained this is like, if you make the CFG scale lower, it'll give the bot more freedom to do what it wants on how to interpret the prompt. I don't really know how accurate those explanations are. I'm sure this is a way more complicated process than anyone could understand, but the key thing to realize here, I think the only differences are his eyes. Yeah, his eyes, I think they're a little less blue. Yeah, you can see a little less blue in this image, but mostly everything is the same. But the key thing to understand here is how you get the seed for a specific image, which, it's really as simple as, look, we'll just do this person's example, nose example. Tells you all the seeds for each individual image in order, top to bottom. Then you just have to keep the same prompt you have, exact same prompt, and then the seed you want. Then make sure to do -s space with that seed, and then you can generate that exact image with variations. Now, something interesting to note here is I've been saying exact same prompt very religiously here, but you can also slightly change the prompt if you have the same seed. Now, this doesn't always work that well, but I have a good example. Very sunny day in a park. And you can set your own seed if you want when generating an image. So let's just say I want the seed 444333322. So it'll generate this image based off this seed, which determines how the base starting colors are. Look at that. It's a very sunny day in the park. But you know what? I want to make this exact same image but with the same seed and almost the same prompt, but I'm going to take out the word vary and see how this changes the final product. So with this seed, it's still going to have the same base pixel generation, but it is going to change the end product ever so slightly. And whatever happened to my other image? Here it is. So you can see in the center here, there's just trees, but in this one, you can actually see the sun shining through right here. So even though I didn't keep the prompt exactly the same, I kept the seed the same and the general meaning of the prompt the same. Oh, wow, that's creepy. So it'll get you a similar result. Now, depending on what word you take out or replace, it could change the end result wildly. So if you want to stick to just slight variations to an image you already know is great, and you just want slightly different things to occur with it, then adjusting the Cfg scale is going to be what you want to do. But if you want to experiment with maybe some slightly bigger variations here, then you can change words in the prompt. So I'll just show how changing one word to something else can make a ginormous impact. So original prompt was very sunny day. I just want to change one word here. This kind of doesn't make sense, but I'm going to do very sunny night in the park. So we'll see what this does. Okay, so it kind of did like at twilight hour as the sun's setting. Makes sense. It's the best interpretation of a sunny night. And let me get both of these images here. The original image. I'll just paste it in this channel. Don't mind me. And I'll get this image, and we'll compare these two. Okay. So as you can see, it's actually really similar. You can see the curvature of the dirt here is the same. The tree on the right side is the same. The sky showing through the leaves up here is the same. So this is a very good example of how changing a word in the prompt that kind of drastically affects the meaning doesn't really make too much of a difference. I mean, you can see like there's no clouds in the sky here and there's not as many trees down here, but the general framework of the image is the same. And the reason for that is because we had a very similar prompt and the exact same seed. So that's the beautiful part of Stable Diffusion that DALL-E does not possess. If you find an image you like we have a very sunny day here, but you're like, this is the perfect scenery I want. It's got a tree on the right. It's got the dirt going up about a third of the way through the image and grass over here, but it's just too bright. I want it to be during a sunset. So you change it to very sunny night with the same seed, has the same starting pixels, and it gives you this. And perhaps this will be what you're looking for. So essentially, you're just going to have to play around with the CFG scale and slightly changing words in prompts yourself if you really want to understand how the same seed for images can change what the output is. And it's not something that can be completely explained with definites because of how variable it is. I got kind of lucky there that changing day to night still kept the same subject matter in the image. But yeah, very important thing to know. If you're still maybe a new Stable Diffusion user, but you've gotten down the basics with how to generate prompts and how to get multiple images and that kind of thing, and now you want to make variations to images you already have. So the seed is going to be what you need for that. If you want small variations that'll keep the output image virtually the same to what you already have, you're going to want to adjust the CFG scale with the -C. And remember, you can do decimals. So if you want to do -C 7.6, that is possible. And if you want to kind of more drastically change the end result, keep the same seed and the same prompt, except maybe change a word in the prompt, so almost the same. So yeah, that's how seeds work with Stable Diffusion. I highly recommend learning all about them and their use cases because there are a lot, and I think it's definitely one of the main benefits of Stable Diffusion. So yeah, great work to Stability.ai for making the seeds public and allowing us to mess with them so much, and I hope this tutorial has helped you understand how they work.